2001. After dot-com collapse, all this fiber was laid and they didn't know what to do with it, so they gave it away for like $20 a month, $30 a month, and that's why DSL is so prominent and so cheap. And it's going to happen here. I think they've already factored it in, but they'll make enough out of the World Cup and it covers their costs, and it'll be great for the next couple of years. So there's a paradox, okay? When you're young, you have tons of ideas, no money. When you're older, you have tons of money, probably, and no ideas. And you've got to bridge the two. And this is really what I'm saying. I'm saying as you get older, you start looking at other people's ideas and helping them refine it, but they're the ones coming up with ideas. They're seeing the new trends in the market. They're the ones more in tune with the market. So the youth is really, literally the 18 to 33-year-old category. I'd probably say 18 to late 20s are the guys with all the great vibrant ideas and want to change the world. And they haven't been beaten down too badly. Because by the time you get thin, you're like, I can't do this anymore. You've had enough of your share of trying to, you get jaded a bit. I mean, I've been. I've seen how tough it is out there. So you get jaded. And I totally understand when people say, this is not for me. I don't want to be an entrepreneur. In fact, I actually hold nothing against people who don't want to be entrepreneurs. And 5 years ago, you asked that question, I would have said they're boring and whatever else. Because for me, entrepreneurship was everything. But right now, I'm at a point in my life where I can honestly say, people need to choose what makes them happy. Being an entrepreneur or being an entrepreneur is irrelevant. Whatever makes you happy in life, whatever you can live with, that's what you should choose. But again, the paradox is, when I was young and out in the streets of Joburg trying to find a job or start a business, there was nobody giving me money, and I didn't have any. So this gap's going to be bridged somehow, and the creation of a venture capital industry in Cape Town and South Africa is going to help that, because kids with ideas need to know that there are people who will back crazy guys with ideas on the hopes that they'll build great businesses. That's what really created Silicon Valley. So I think it's about funding ideas over the next couple of years, and as information becomes more pervasive, Wikipedia is huge, Google gives you limitless information. The educational and the knowledge gaps between first world and developing markets are just they're eroding quickly over time. We can tell now from hiring engineering people and developers out here, they're equal to, if not much better, probably more on the much better side, to the guys in the US that we interview. In fact, we probably have to interview more people there because our networks there are not as strong as the ones here. So yeah, we find all the good guys easily. There we have to dig a little bit deeper. There's lots of people who claim they can do stuff. You hire them, you find them 2 months later, that type of thing. I'm glad to say we haven't fired a single developer here, although we have fired over there. So the gap, the educational gap and the technical and the skills gap is just being eroded, which is a good thing. But now we need the capital to help these guys get to the next level and build strong businesses. And I think bringing skills from the US here in terms of the business side is important, because we've been tracked in, you look at our traffic stats for the YOLO network, it's like 3 times the size of the largest site in South Africa, which I'm not at liberty to compare to. I'm sure you guys know which that one is. But we're doing like 5 million visitors a month plus to our network. No one in this country has got experience keeping servers up to that level, because if they work for the biggest, they've only have exposure to 1.something million. So those skills just don't exist here, and we've got to bring them across. But on the flip side, the guys keeping it up right now never had those skills, but now they're learning, and they because they're in a bigger pond, they can actually they're learning a lot more. So I think skills transference is important to a point. Some parts don't need it, some parts do need it. I think we definitely need more skills in usability and user experience on the web. We suck at that as a community. The stuff I've seen locally is always substandard, and it's not the design skills. It's specifically user experience skills. There just isn't any out there. A couple of guys set up shop, and that's great, and hopefully that'll improve over time. But user experience is a cornerstone for building good web applications and good internet companies. I think that's the end of the talk. But a lot of this will be QA, so I'll open up to you guys on the floor. Questions?
Interested in the early stages of the funding for Synthesize. You mentioned putting some R&D funding in from incubator, and you mentioned some angel investors, friends and family. How did you structure that?
So we had a company, the incubator was making money, and we had cash flows, and we basically had 60, 70 people, and we had 12 people or whatever working on Synthesize building it up. So that was the cost. It was part of the running cost of the whole organization. we didn't go and create a business plan and put all the money in. It's okay, here we go. It just sort of accumulated over time, much to many people's dismay. It was just a lot of money that we were thrown into a pot. I think the Friends and Family round was quite simple. It was after I restructured and put my own capital in and showed what it was doing and could demo the product. There were 2,000 people. Other people were, well, we like the product, we see the opportunity, therefore we invest, or whatever you're doing next, we want to back it in years of cash. And some people are a little bit, so I think having a track record out there, it's a lot more difficult when you don't have a track record trying to
You just gave equity at these early stages.
So you don't give away equity, you give away a convertible note. So you say it's a loan, okay, with interest, but at your option you get to convert the loan into equity at a discount to the next round of funding valuation. So maybe you like a 50% discount. So the next round of funding came in, half the price that the other investor paid for the shares, you pay for your shares. And then we will convert at that point, because it's very. Then there was a base valuation minimum. If the company couldn't repay, you convert at a minimum, a very small valuation. And the reason for that is because, as an entrepreneur, you don't want to give away so much equity upfront, but you want to sell it at a fair price. But what is a fair price when you're starting a business? No one can tell. Only when you get a significant amount of funding do you actually get a valuation of the company. So convertible notes are used in the US. They work very well. Work well for us. So that's what I recommend you. And they have a timeline. So within 12 months, this money will get us down the road 12 months. And in 12 months' time, we'll either convert you, we'll pay the loan back at your discretion, or we'll convert you at a discount, or we'll convert you at a fixed price. But the fixed price we set was very low. So if I didn't raise funding, I'd be giving away a big chunk of my company. So it was very important that we raise funding.
Keeps you in the toes, and that's what
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, in terms of the loan, what was that interest rate that you attached to that?
I can't remember.
Or
No, it was like prime. It was 50%. Because the friends and family, they're not trying to make interest out of you. They're just trying to help you get the business going. And I think they didn't like the valuation that was coming in the next round. I can't remember the details of it, but if for some reason the new investor comes in, they don't like the valuation, they want to get money back plus interest. Fine.
A lot of the VCs are very concerned about barriers of entry. So there were some players sort of in the similar field. How did you find that? I mean, or how did you get around the actual concept of barriers of entry?
Yeah, I mean, there's the whole concept of barriers to entry. The same guys are like trying to defend IP in court, internet patents in court. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Execution is key. So if you have the internet's got no barriers to entry. Anyone can go build Google tomorrow with enough capital and people or whatever else. But what makes Google so sticky and so powerful? It's better quality results. It's a whole bunch of things that execute really well on. On the internet, there's nothing. The internet's a meritocracy. There's no barriers to entry for any business. Okay, barring maybe stuff that ICANN governs. Generally, there's just no barriers to entry. So people who like barriers to entry, I think, are they're not always up for a challenge. Because the challenge is execution. It's not creating IP and registering patents and defensibility. It all comes out of execution. We don't have any IP in our business, literally. Whereas our products is the same as 20 other site builders out there. In theory, it performs the same function. But the IP in our business it's the people, it's the vision, it's the technology from a execution standpoint. What are we executing today? What are we doing? What are we building out? That's the network effect. It's having 20 million users next year. Partially having $20 million in the bank. That's a defensible business. So it's a lot of things. It's not just purely IP, because it's nothing without the people. If I left Yoda tomorrow and my top 5 or 10 people, in fact, half the company walked out, what would you have? So IP is valueless without the people. And I think people who are trying to create these businesses that are based on barriers to entry, these are the guys who love monopolies. And, it's age old.